In this video, we're going to take a look at a pop-up head. Now, this is the K-Rain Pro S pop-up head, but you will see something very similar with Hunter's pop-ups as well as Rainbird's 1800 series pop-ups as well. So very similar, but this is the one we're going to take a look at today. So the reason why they're called a pop-up is because they will pop up with a spring, and then on top they will have a what we would call a nozzle that has the water fan out. Now, when you're putting one new, these all have these little pieces where you can easily pull them up. And there's 2 points for it. One, this is going to help you clean out debris. So let's say you're digging, trying to replace this head, and some dirt fell in. You can actually turn that zone on, and the water will shoot right out of here, clear it out. And the reason why you want to do that is we don't want any extra dirt in there. It'll just clog up and ruin the nozzle or the head, and you'll have to replace it again. And then 2, it's a lot easier to pull this up when it's in the ground, so you can pick it up and replace this with an actual nozzle. And the reason why is I'll show you. So we'll take this off. There you go. It's going to be a little bit harder to get in there and grab it. So, and we want to be careful. We don't want to ruin any sort of the threads or anything. So that's the reason why they have that plastic piece. Hunter and Rainbird both have something similar to that as well. Let's go ahead and take this apart. So when we take this apart, this is just the cover piece. And here you go. So this is where the water sits, right? And then this is the part that allows it to be the pop-up. Now, the reason why this happens is just the water pressure, right? Water is going to fill up in here and slowly push that spring. And it comes right up. So that's the inside. Most of the time I would recommend, rather than ever having to take something apart like that, just replace the whole head. It's a lot easier. They're not that expensive, and make sure they're done properly versus just replacing little pieces here and there. Most of the time you just can't really buy a single piece of those, a single inner piece. So just buy the whole thing, replace it. A lot easier. Now let's take a look at those nozzles. So if we have this up, right, we can untwist it. That's where you put the nozzle. But let's take a step back here and take a look at what a nozzle is. So this here is a nozzle. This one happens to be the Rainbird Van 10. What that means is variable adjustable nozzle, and the number means 10 feet, and I can go into detail there. This just means that you can adjust the spray from really tight to a full circle. Rainbird will work on any of these. So Rainbirds, Hunters, K-Rains, those all have pretty much interchangeable pieces that will all work with their heads. So be aware, any sort of a number here on the bottom of this nozzle, that means the distance is typically supposed to be in feet. So it could be a 4, an 8, a 10, 12, 15, 18. Those are just meaning the different distances. Be aware though that if you live in somewhere that's really windy, because of the nature of how this water sprays out, it's not always going to be 100% perfect, especially with any sort of wind. It can push the water around. So be aware of that. And then what else I have here is a filter. I always recommend putting these in when you're putting those nozzles in, because that's just going to allow to keep any extra debris out. Because a lot of times you'll see after some sprinklers have been in, maybe the fan's not spraying out as good, and that could be because there's dirt, rocks, even some plants pieces can get stuck inside. So be aware that can stop the flow of water and not allow you to do it properly or have it water properly. But the way you put these in, pretty simple. Take off this cap. You're going to put the filter in, so it'll just sit right in there. And then you screw that on like that. Now, a couple things to be aware of when you're adjusting. If you notice, there's an L It's really hard to see, but there's an L on this side, and other times there's like a flat piece. So a section of the sprinkler nozzle that's flat. What that indicates is, and the way that you adjust these. So let's say that this is a quarter circle nozzle, okay? So it only sprays for a quarter circle. When you screw this on, you screw it on all the way, and you notice that it's not lining up properly, okay? What you'll do is you adjust from the left, and then you adjust to the right, meaning what we'll do is we'll line this left line up first with the left part of our grass. So let's say it's right here, okay? And this is the section we want to water. So if it's here, what we'll do is we'll grab and twist that piece, and you can actually twist this. This is the piece that we're twisting, and it'll make that noise, okay? And that's okay. So you adjust that piece, and then making sure that from end to the right, everything looks good. So that's how you adjust. Start from the left, and that is the same or true for hunter and rainbird. Everything is adjusted from the left to the right. And there you go. That's all you need to do. And you've got yourself a working, functioning pop-up head.